come a little bit. How much hit has this segment of the market also taken from the fiscal space and a few issues from the monetary space with regards to currency, volatility, and things like that?
Absolutely. See, the thing is, for you to even begin to adequately price a bond, the macroeconomic issues concerning the fiscal responsibility of government and the rating of government, especially also as it concerns your foreign exchange earnings reserve, all comes to bear when it comes to ratings and all of that. So all of those things play a key part in the valuations you get for your bond and how it is traded, both locally and internationally. So the most important thing is, yes, it has taken a hit. Absolutely. I think it could have done better. A lot of the fact that we've not really had a clear direction has also taken a toll on because you don't want to come into a country, invest in bonds, and you already have the fact that oil prices are down, and it's largely dependent on crude oil for its primary source of foreign exchange earnings. So there is already this depletion, massive depletion in our reserves, and for all you care, it clearly tells you that the country is ailing. You don't want to have another grease in your hands when you're investing in the sovereign bond of the country. So yeah, it's one thing that a lot of foreign investors are also keenly focusing on, and like it affected the capital market, it has also had a strong impact on the
almost all the bonds in our basket right now has a yield double digits. Okay, and where some are heading towards 15%.
Yes, absolutely.
And that looks really bad for us, isn't it?
Considering the fact that inflation is still hovering around 9%, it then depends on your investment horizon. It depends on what the investment strategy for the investor, the particular investor, would be. I think it's dicey, you know, but you want to also take it with a pinch of salt, considering the fact that going into the second half of the year, we are going to see huge investment in infrastructure, if you ask me. We are going to see a lot of bond issuances coming up. We are going to see massive, also from the optimistic viewpoint, you're going to see some sort of reduction in corruption. People are going to be held to task. We've already started seeing that with the oil space, in the oil space, and it's going to filter into the other segments of the economy. So overall, going into the second half of the year, going into 2016, I'm mildly optimistic. I think we'll see some resurgence in both our fixed income and our equities markets. I think with the kind of traction we saw in the market as soon as the
elections were
concluded,
yes, equities were up about 20%.
I think eventually that gives you a mirror reflection of where investors are. Mindset is hovering around. They are optimistic. They just need to have those things properly implemented, put in place.
When policies and the clarity come in place, investors will still need to go back to the drawing board and see if those clarity align with their expectations.
Absolutely. But the thing is, Bosun, where else can you possibly get, if you look at it on the merits of returns on investments, then Nigeria is a compelling case eventually.
Nigeria, we're still the market to beat.
Yes, absolutely. So you cannot rule out the fact that if things begin to go right, you don't want to. And for all you care, if you are a savvy investor, you don't necessarily. I'll give you an instance. I look at a company's financials, for instance, a company traded on the Nigerian exchange, and I do a forecast, a 2-3 year forecast on the company. Those are my expectations for where I think earnings should be. Then I juxtapose that with where I think will be fair to trade the price of the equity. So I'm taking futuristic stance on things I have not yet seen, but giving economic indications and where I think they will be heading towards, I take a stand. So eventually you have to absolutely take a stand. The moment you wait for things to begin to crystallize, then you have not done due diligence as per you being a proper analyst, and you have not really taken, because if it's clear, it's no longer an interesting investment. So once we did an outlook report in the beginning of the year, and we captioned it Nigeria, the diamond in the rough. And that clearly aptly captures where our perception about the Nigerian economy as an investment
But
case
has that
is.
your report been knocked by the elections and the uncertainties? Now, you don't want to talk about that. Has that report been knocked?
Not necessarily. Because we anticipated that the first half of the year was going to be this tough, actually. So if you look at it, considering the fact that at the time, oil prices were fast on the decline, and our reserves were fast shrinking, exchange rate risk, it was not rocket science. It was going to happen. And that has already started happening towards the twilight of 2014. So 2015 expectations, half year, first quarter, for most analysts, wasn't necessarily rosy. But the good thing about it, Bosin, is that eventually when elections came out better than expected, a lot of people anticipated some sort of violence, regarding how the election plays out. But it came out better than expected. And as soon as that was done and dusted, we got to the work of trying to look at Buhari as a person, and where are his leanings towards, what exactly what does he stand for? And those are the things that those foreign investors are particularly keen, on. They want to know what are his political antecedents. And if you ask me, he has pretty credible antecedents, particularly with his stance on corruption.
Okay, let's keep it as what you call work in progress. We have
still a diamond.
We have 6 months. Yeah. Still a diamond in the trial. Now we have 6 months to bring you back here and see if the diamond has emerged.
It's really emerged.
Or you've made diamond. Okay, thank you very much for coming. Chukwumanya, Head of Research and Strategy at GTI Securities. We'll take a break. When we come back, we still have the commodities market, quite a bit of stories there for you. We'll be back with that and more in the second half of the program.